government. It loves you and wants to keep you safe and well. It even wants to make paying taxes, fines, and court costs easier for you. How? Well, you'll need to meet your straw man.
As it pertains to
He
the
was born the
WikiLeaks
same day you
revelations
were.
revealed
He looks
last
like
year,
you, has the same name, and lives in your house, but you...
that basically that Julian Assange wants to speak with the president. He wants to send a message to the president. Now, somehow the Wall Street Journal got a hold of leaked audio of this call from Dana Rohrabacher to General Kelly, who is the chief of staff for the president. General Kelly kind of has the president on sort of a, I don't want to say lockdown, but that's almost what it's like, right? No information gets to the president except through General Kelly. He's kind of like a firewall, so to speak. Representative Rohrabacher spoke with General Kelly. Rohrabacher said that Julian Assange has proof, has evidence that he could provide that shows that this Russian hacking narrative is BS. And Rohrabacher was talking about immunity for Julian Assange. In exchange, I guess, is what it was kind of implying, right? So in exchange for Julian Assange providing this information, they would give Julian Assange immunity, who's been hiding out in the Ecuadorian embassy for several years. Well, General Kelly, even though there's proof that the Russia stuff is BS, said that he can't speak with the president, that instead he should give this to the intelligence community. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are you kidding me? He should give that to the intelligence community? These are the people that got us into this to begin with. They're the ones obstructing Trump. This is continuation of government. This is deep state. These are the constant, I don't know the word, blockers of what the president is trying to do. And we have Robert Mueller investigating his businesses, that is Trump's businesses, for, I guess, Russia collusion. And there's proof that the Russians did not provide WikiLeaks information. That's huge. But General Kelly thinks that, well, I don't think the president should have this information. Why on earth is General Kelly making that decision and not the president of the United States? Is General Kelly an obstructionist? I don't know. Let me get into the comments here. Satellite Jack, welcome. Mr. Spinks and Linda are in here as well. Thank you. Satellite says, the chess game of military defense is to have weapons defense one step ahead of your opponent's expectations, U.S. versus North Korea. Chess game of political power is to force your opponent to recognize your viability versus admitted military defense, North Korea versus U.S. I think U.S. has a bit more defensive power than it's admitting, but can't and won't be vocal about it to keep ahead versus other nations, Russia and China. Satellite Jack, I 100% agree with you. I don't doubt that the United States has the capabilities to stop intercontinental ballistic missiles and just isn't telling us because they need classified stuff to protect us against China and Russia if the event ever happens. But it's scary because it's like, well, what if they don't? You know what I mean? From the publicly available information, there was a program that could possibly stop ICBMs, but it was scrapped back a while ago. And so hopefully we have something. I would say that hopefully we have something, but I guess the best defense is, well, to not have North Korea fire off a missile to begin with. So we have to find out, because not only that, they'd be playing their card too. You know, if we have classified missile defense system that we don't want China and Russia to know about, we don't want to let North Korea to get to a position where they fire off a rocket and us use that technology, because then Russia and China know you've played your hand. So then they develop similar technologies or hack our computer systems that are regularly insecure and find plans for our missile defense systems, for classified things. You know, another thing that concerns me too, and I read this earlier in the week, that Amazon is being charged with storing highly sensitive documents from the intelligence community. And they said, the article said it's unclassified, but it's highly sensitive. So that concerns me, because I look at things as, if something can go wrong, it probably will. If something can be exploited, it probably will. The fact that the government's giving that to an outside company to be protected really concerns me a great deal. Like, if you thought the leaks are bad now, just wait. Excuse me. But yeah, this Julian Assange stuff is insane, man. If Julian Assange has information, he's trying to get it to the president, and the president can't find out about it because Kelly is hiding it from him. What is going on? The president is not some puppy dog. He doesn't need to be treated like he's a 5-year-old. He is the president of the United States and needs to know this information. Is Kelly an obstructionist? Is Kelly an obstructionist? And if he is, why hasn't he been fired? Like, what's going on with that? Because it's not just Rohrabacher that's saying these things. Many of people close to Trump have been saying this similar things, that Kelly just won't let anybody talk to him. In fact, he tried to isolate him from Ivanka and the family, and that didn't fly. That didn't fly. Ivanka managed to get through Kelly's firewall, so to speak. So I don't know. How's he going to get this information? Hopefully, maybe he's watching this show. I don't know why the heck he's watching this show. He's got a lot more to worry about than watching this. But I don't know. Maybe Melania or one of his kids or something lets him know, hey, yeah, Rohrabacher's trying to get you some info that can end this entire Russiagate business. Do you want to hear it? Well, yes, I do. Why didn't I hear about this? Oh, because General Kelly is keeping it from you. Oh, that's going to go great. The president's going to love that. You know, Reince Priebus tried to do that as well. And you saw where Reince Priebus ended up. FTWBK says, how is Assange different than a news organization publishing classified info? I have a controversial stance on this. I think that unless it's battle plans, like if it's legit battle plans, like how we're going to handle North Korea, unless it's that, I don't think they should even be labeling it classified. I'm sorry, but if you don't want to get that information out there, then you shouldn't be doing it. It shouldn't be something that you have to hide. We should have transparency in our government. And what they do is they hide behind all this classified information. Whenever they're suspected, you know, whenever there's wrongdoing in the government and they're suspected of wrongdoing and there's investigations being done, oh, they can't reveal that information because it's classified, right? They just hide behind the fact that it's classified. They say, oh, it's for national security, right? Everything's classified because it's national security, when realistically, most of the time, it's just people doing bad things, getting caught, and this information that the U.S. citizens are supposed to be able to receive via FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, we don't get to see. How can we hold our government accountable if we can't see the information and we can't see their performance because they label everything classified? And then when they have the opportunity to actually treat classified information correctly, what do? They put it on private servers. It wasn't just Hillary, right? Colin Powell did that. Many people do that kind of thing, right? They just pass it around all willy-nilly. They don't care unless it's something that can incriminate them. All of a sudden, it's national security. So, so that bothers me. You know what I mean? I think there should be some kind of morality behind it, some kind of, what's the word? Some kind of things that would stop you from releasing certain information. If somebody was in danger, certainly you shouldn't really receive certain, you shouldn't provide certain information if it could put somebody in harm's way. But if it exposes somebody that's corrupt, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Don't hide from us, right? If it wasn't for WikiLeaks, we wouldn't know like all the stuff that we know now. We wouldn't know that there was a deep state. For the longest time, that was a conspiracy theory, and now they talk about it regularly on the news. We know they exist, and because we know they exist, we can root it out and stop it. We've learned about continuation of government. We've learned about the things the intelligence community is doing, such as what Edward Snowden found out, that the NSA was violating our Fourth Amendment rights and mass spying on everybody. And what they do is they put a software mask over the information. So every email you send, everything you post on Facebook, everything you search for on Google, everything you do in your digital life, including where you've been, all that data that's connected to the internet, which is pretty much all data, gets sent to the NSA, to their data center, and is stored there. And there's a mask that's supposed to keep people from looking at it without, if they don't have a warrant to look at it, which you have to get through from a secret court that's accountable to no one. So you have to get this warrant through a secret court to get this information unmasked. That's how it's supposed to work. Certainly, there would never be any type of abuse in something like that. And of course there is. We found situations where NSA employees are spying on their ex-girlfriends and stuff. So yeah, they're not supposed to look at what's behind the mask, but they do. Susan Rice was not supposed to be spying on the president, but they were, right? And the president was President Obama and all them. Susan Rice. Everybody's spying on the president, the people around him, not just him. There's like millions and millions of documents of all these people that the government has been spying on without any type of warrant. High society figures. And the evidence is overwhelming. The FBI has had this information because Dennis Montgomery, a whistleblower from the CIA and NSA, he was a contractor, submitted 47 hard drives proving the wrongdoing. It was submitted to the FBI via his lawyer, Larry Klayman of Freedom Watch, a couple years ago. And Dennis Montgomery was granted immunity for blowing the whistle, and the FBI didn't do anything with this information. In fact, when James Comey spoke before Congress and said, oh, we don't have anything to support this allegation that the president's making that he's being wiretapped, he has millions, hundreds of millions of documents of proof of all these people that they've been spying on, including the president, including his family, including even the lawyer, Larry Klayman, who's the head of Freedom Watch. So like all this is going on, and it's like, who is going to keep these people accountable, right? If it wasn't for WikiLeaks, we would be oblivious to it. We wouldn't know. It would just be conspiracy theory, right? All this would just be conspiracy theory. And then WikiLeaks came out with the Vault 7 revelations, which show us that it's a lot worse than we thought it was. And only a portion of Vault 7 has come out yet. But what we found out so far is the CIA.
Hi, everybody. It
and
is
the
September
Five Eyes
16,
spy
2017. I'm going to be addressing some comments, but first, I'm going to start with this video. Furniture flooding.
Now you can see just how bad it got. The station's news director posted this picture on Twitter as well. The water got so high, it actually started moving the furniture. But like we said, they've been on the air all day, nonstop, despite it. I know, that picture there gave me goosebumps. But we wish them the best of luck, along with everyone there just trying to survive this storm. Now, heartbreaking photos and video are coming in from that catastrophic flooding in Houston all day. 10 News reporter Gus Derwitz has been keeping an eye on everything. And tell me what you've seen so far.
It's been unfathomable to
really
watch some of this stuff. Yes, I want to start with one that actually more than 3,000 of you have shared from our 10 News Facebook page. And yes, it is real and it is heartbreaking. Look at this. This is of elderly residents in an assisted living center near Houston stuck in floodwaters. You can see they're up to their waists. So this photo was tweeted out this morning by Tim and Kim McIntosh, who are right here in Tampa, actually. Tim told me over the phone tonight that her mom owns this facility in Texas. Her mother texted her this picture this morning, desperately looking for help. Many of you on Facebook asked, why in the world did they not evacuate? Well, Kim said her mother was told they didn't need to, so they sheltered in place, even though she had prepared by booking hotels for the residents just in case. Now, luckily, though, hours after Kim's husband tweeted out the photo and thousands of retweets later, you can see here rescuers did finally arrive. But not before Tim and Kim said they did get some backlash from some people who wondered whether the unbelievable photo was a little too unbelievable to be real.
It was heartbreaking to us when you know something is true and you're just trying to get help and no one's believing you. I was so upset because we're here in Florida. We moved here a year ago from San Antonio and we could have been there or helped out. We were desperate to get someone there, and given we couldn't get through to anybody, I felt like no one was listening. And I mean, minutes counted there. Those people were up to their necks. They were in wheelchairs, and these people could have easily died.
My goodness, again, that picture, goosebumps. The Galveston Daily News did confirm with emergency management officials there that they did rescue 18 people from that home, thankfully.
They did confirm in the validity of that photo, too. And, you know, the big question is going to be why weren't more people evacuated? And that was far from the first rescue. There have been thousands today all over Texas, like this next one as well. Take a quick look. The Harris County Sheriff tweeted this out. You can see deputies helping a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran with muscular dystrophy get to safety. And bonus, that top photo there, they were also able to rescue his 3 cats as well. I will, of course, keep an eye on social media. I'll share some more in just a few minutes.
All right.
Now, you can see just how bad it got.
In that video, did any of these women look like illegal immigrants? We know that this 71-year-old Vietnam vet is probably an American citizen. Victoria, sorry, but these comments, they're not the first. And I got a message, a private message or a comment, I can't remember, underneath one of the first Hurricane Harvey videos that I posted. And I was rather shocked. You seemingly quite cold. The governor told them to evacuate. They should have evacuated. I would have evacuated. In the Bible it says that man needs to take care of himself and his family. I can't remember it, and I don't want to spend time looking for it. But now, underneath the video that I posted on the City Council in College Park, Maryland, you write, okay, I am confused by your outrage on illegals. When did I say I was outraged on illegals? I didn't say that at all. My outrage was about the American citizens, they on the council, willy-nilly handing over the rights and privileges of citizenship to people who are illegal, and rendering citizenship meaningless. I said in the video that it was a slap in the face to those who have worked hard. The 5-year process, which can be rather arduous. Those who immigrated from other countries, migrated from other countries, and they worked to get their American citizenship. And then you've got these city councils who are American citizens. Well, let's break the law and let's just give them the rights and privileges of citizenship. That's where my outrage is, at the council members, not illegals. In fact, I don't have any anger, outrage towards illegals. My outrage is at the American citizens who just seem to not care about much of anything. And they even laughed during that meeting, those council members, talking about, well, there's 11 other municipalities that have extended the rights and privileges of citizenship to their illegal immigrants, and they did it because, well, they just don't care, and, well, I guess we can do it because we don't care. There, that was my outrage. That was my outrage. Not understanding the ramifications of those actions. But my outrage is actually at so many American citizens. Those American citizens that are working in our local, state, and federal government who really are committing treason. Or those American citizens that we call our leaders that steal trillions of taxpayer money. And the American citizen, the ordinary American citizens, the people don't seem to care and demand an investigation of the trillions and trillions and trillions that have gone missing in the Department of Defense. Or how about those American citizens in local, state, federal government that are stealing your money? The taxes, all just to steal your money. American citizens in law enforcement, they pulling people over and stealing their money. We've got federal agencies filled with American citizens working at their jobs that are supposed to be working in these agencies to protect us, to protect our health, protect our safety, and, well, that's not what they do at all. I'm outraged at those American citizens. Or the American citizens who are absolutely 100% very clear, very obvious, those in the White House, those in Congress, those in the Supreme Court who commit treason. All of the American citizens who work in jobs that maintain this evil system, just being cogs in the wheel, to keep it going. In every industry, in every profession, medical, mental health, education, all the cogs in the wheel, keeping this evil system going. I'm angry at every American citizen who pays taxes. And the taxes are going to drop bombs on other countries. You know, first, and our country is not old. It's not old. And we've got a whole lot of problems, and they are complex problems. You know, so you think about the Mexicans in Texas. Yeah, I do have empathy for them. They still regard Texas as Mexico. Well, we stole Texas from Mexico. So that's a tension. And, well, look at the Native Americans. We have really destroyed that, that people. Yeah, we stole all of the land. And how did we go about doing it? Well, in Christ's name. In Christ's name. We can pillage and rape and commit near genocide of the indigenous people and feel fine about it because, well, it was God-given this country. I mean, think about all of the American citizens who pilfer their own American citizens in the insurance industry, in the medical industry, in pharmaceutical industry, in bankers, the mental health industry, the green industry, landlords, car salesmen. Those in our federal government and Congress pilfered Social Security, stole the money. FEMA, $24 billion in debt. And we've been bailing them out. Taxes. Because they don't have the money. So they borrow from the Department of Treasury. And where do they get the money? They get it from the American people. And they keep raising our taxes. IRS, wow, man, have you noticed? They just keep record highs of the amount of money that they're collecting from the American people. So FEMA stealing our money, Social Security stealing our money, Medicare stealing our money, Department of Defense stealing our money. I mean, trillions go to killing people all over the world because, well, we stole all of this land that we could, and now we're just all over the world destroying countries and raping and pillaging and murdering. We keep paying so that they can drop the bombs to kill other people. And yeah, what about all of those American citizens on Social Security disability now? How about all of those American citizens who play the game, play the system? The food stamps. Not saying that everybody on food stamps or Social Security disability or whatever other benefits they receive. I know an awful lot who receive benefits, and it's necessary. But yeah, so we have an awful lot of American citizens who are pretty much just like the illegal immigrants, according to Victoria, who are just taking and pilfering from American citizens. So what do you say here? So the preferential treatment that illegals are getting in Texas for housing and money, well, that's the main reason that you are not sympathetic to their cries of being stranded and homeless. Hurricane Harvey. It's a hurricane. It's a crisis. It was so horrific. Thousands were rescued. Many died. So many have lost their homes. And you can't be sympathetic to their cries of being stranded and homeless because, according to you, most in Houston are illegal immigrants. Few are American citizens. When Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, did any of you think, there's a lot of illegal immigrants there, so I'm going to remain cold. I don't care. I didn't. Illegal aliens, or immigrants, whatever, didn't even register. And frankly, if I were there, it would never have dawned on me. What do you do? All right, so let's say you only have sympathy for the American citizens, so when they're floating by you in a flood, are you going to ask them for their papers? Make sure that they're an American citizen, and that's the one that you'll help. But the illegal alien, well, they can just drown. So you say, I had to pray and rethink my position and ask God to forgive me, but it's like a burglar crying when he is hurt during a burglary. Wow. That's your analogy to Hurricane Harvey. You go on, my lack of sympathy was rooted in the fact that thousands of illegals defied our governor's warnings because they were afraid ICE would be at the shelters to deport them. Did you hear in this video that I just played that they were told to shelter in place? Did you not care about my response to your comment or message, the first one, when I said the governor in Texas also said, listen to your local government officials, and the mayor of Houston, along with the judge who oversees emergency services in Houston, both public announcements, shelter in place. But here you come again. That just doesn't compute in your mind. So you're going to go again with, well, they didn't evacuate. That was your first message to me. Because they didn't evacuate. And you, well, placing your experience on all those residents in Houston and the surrounding areas, because you would have evacuated and they didn't, well, too bad for them. That's scary to me. But I know an awful lot of Americans think this way, because there were responses and support for Victoria's position. All right, so then thousands of illegals defied the governor's warning because they were afraid that ICE would be at the shelters. So that means that the illegal aliens didn't go to the shelters, which means that the people in the shelters are American citizens, right, Victoria? And those American citizens now are being relocated to tent cities. I guess it's not the illegals, because they defied, and they defied evacuation. They were too scared to show up at the shelters. Okay. So that doesn't make sense, what you're saying. But you write, so they stayed behind and then cried. They were homeless and stranded. So I was not sympathetic, as I should have been, to love my enemies. I am sincerely sorry, however, legal is legal and illegal is illegal. No regard for our laws as they pilfer and demand, and parade in our streets. You know how many American citizens are just like that? And do you know how many illegal immigrants in this country really work hard? And I know some of them. And they are actually working towards the getting their citizenship in the right way. But you don't seem to be angry at the American citizens, those wealthy American citizens who hire the illegal immigrants because, well, they can pay them dirt cheap to do all of their gardening. You don't seem to care about all of the American citizens who hire illegal immigrants to watch their children, clean their homes, cook for them. And you don't seem to care much about all of the Americans who pilfer their own. You know, when you think about how much money, taxpayer money, is going to these illegals, and then you think about all of the American citizens who work for government, and think about the trillions upon trillions and trillions of dollars that have been stolen from us by American citizens, what we are footing the bill for these illegal immigrants is pale. It pales in comparison, but nonetheless, it is a big, big problem. And I have posted many, many videos on this, Victoria. But you're writing this about human beings who are in a catastrophic hurricane. And you're writing things like, well, too bad for them. You agree with helping people in need, but have an issue with helping people who are breaking the law. Well, I don't have an issue with illegal immigrants. I don't have an issue with them. I have an issue with those who are driving this deliberate agenda to open our borders, to allow so many people to come in. I have a problem with our government officials who are handing over taxpayer money. See, that's where my anger goes. It's not going towards those who are in this country illegally. And, well, when you have your government officials saying, hey, come on in, and we're going to pay for everything for you, don't you think they're going to come on in? But there's also an awful lot who work really hard. So, you know, this kind of comment is, it really, well, it just kind of breaks my heart and leaves me hopeless. But it wasn't just one. Here you're saying, well, let me state the obvious since no one else is stating it. And this was under Floridians leave shelters for home, Houstonians leave shelters for tents. Tents. And you're right. Let me state the obvious since no one else is stating it. A huge number of those displaced because of Harvey are illegals, which are making this whole situation extremely difficult. But in the earlier comment, you did say that they were too afraid to go to the shelters because ICE would deport them. Well, they are relocating those in the shelter into the tents. So you're right. How about we let ICE do their jobs that our tax dollars pay for and round them up and send them home to where they came from? You know, there's an awful lot of Mexicans who want to round you guys up and send you home from where you came from. And, you know, this is not the way that we are ever going to resolve our problems. So it's a mess. It's a real mess. And unfortunately, it comes from lying. Americans have been lying since this country started. In Christ's name, yeah, we're going to murder and rape and commit near genocide. We're going to rip Native American children from their families and force them into schools and beat them if they dare to speak their language. In Christ's name. And then we're going to round up all of those that we weren't able to kill off, and we're going to put them in these reservations, and we're going to move them about for, oh, a very, very long time, because whenever we find out that they're sitting on valuable land, those minerals, the resources of that land, then we just move them somewhere else because we want to grab anything that's valuable. Giving them land, so many are stuck on reservations where the land is very hard to work, to grow anything. What we have done is just absolutely horrendous. And I am leaving what we have done to blacks out because I plan on doing a video on that. But American citizens. So you write, you're right. How about we let ICE do their jobs? How about it, Victoria? Who's stopping them from doing their job? Is it the illegal immigrants? Or might it be those behind the curtain who are driving this deliberate agenda to destroy the economy, to destroy our sovereignty, and bring in this new world order? I mean, are you active where you live? Do you ever get angry at your government, at your government officials, at your governor, at your liberal mayor who is giving all of the free stuff away to illegal immigrants? Do you get angry at them? Or is your anger just directed at these people who are being used by our government to destroy our country, our economy, and also the agenda is the divide and conquer. Yeah, let's get American citizens to hate the illegal immigrants that we are inviting in, and we're giving their money to them. And won't that be great? Because so many American citizens will just get angry at them instead of getting angry at the real enemy. And the real enemy is not the illegal immigrants. You're right, this is an ideal time to do it when they have no home to return to anyway. Then we can take care of our citizens and have a lot more money to use that is not going to ensure the comfort of lawbreakers and put our citizens in real homes and help them get through this trauma? Question mark? You really think that that's going to happen? Victoria, do you really think it's the illegal immigrants? Or could it be that our own government is destroying American citizens? Do you think if they sent all of those illegal immigrants home, suddenly they would just be, well, now we can shower you with all of this money, American citizens? No, Victoria. You got that all wrong. Because they are destroying us. And they want to destroy us. And they won't stop destroying us. And you know what? When you're destroyed, you get a really, well, a clearer perspective of what is taking place. You, if you do research, you then begin to understand, okay, you see the evil for what it is. And the evil is not with the illegal immigrants. I do find it interesting because you don't seem to be upset with the many more American citizens who are pilfering their own. You don't seem to be upset with Americans who are keeping the evil system in place. And what I also find interesting is that you never ever once asked me how my friend was in Houston, that American citizen friend. Never once have you been concerned about her. And you do have support here. Victoria Bennett, you speak the truth, sister. So many of them were already living off the government before this. Maybe this is the government's way of getting rid of them. No, no, New Horizons. It's not the way of getting rid of the illegal immigrants. It's a way of destroying all of us. You had more support. Lemon Drop, I'm with you. But it's not being racist. It's being lawful. Well, I'm sorry. It's not either of those things when you have a hurricane that is catastrophic. What do you do, Victoria? Are you going to ask people for their papers when they need help? I'm sorry, but doesn't it say in the Bible, hearts will grow cold? And I'm seeing it, I'm living it. And it is rather terrifying when you see so many Americans who just are truly kind of showing their real colors. This idea that Americans are caring and compassionate and generous. And this is yet another example of a Christian who, I'm sorry, who really needs to face herself in the mirror and ask herself, why do I have so much hatred towards illegal immigrants when they're not the enemy? And yeah, some do parade around in streets and scream, we have a right and all this, but that's all part of the agenda. And once our governments permit that to take place, you're going to see an awful lot of people coming out. Because, well, they look around and they think, okay, there's no real response to this from American citizens, so I'm going to come back out and I'm going to make my force a little bit stronger. But it's all deliberate. It is all deliberate to get us hating one another. And I'm sorry that so many in the awake crowd are not seeing this. They're not seeing this. So, to be fair, what I guess this is your response to me, I don't know, because now we're not even getting a clear thread. My response to you was when you say huge numbers of displaced, and I'm not reading the full comments, pause the video, you can read it, but something about most are illegals, you say, and that, you know, some are American citizens. And I wrote, did you go out and count how many were illegals and how many citizens? What else do I say to your comment? But I think you're responding to me. I'm not sure why the sarcasm. I don't feel it's deserved. However, I know Texas and the coastal area that were hit the hardest were loaded with hundreds of thousands of them. And yes, it is hundreds of thousands, not just thousands. And not just Mexicans, but illegals from all over the world. Scotland, Ireland, England, no. And you're right, are you okay with even thousands getting taxpayer money to relocate, get housing? I have no idea what's happening with the illegal immigrants. I have no idea. All I know is that people have lost their homes, they're in shelters, and now they're going to be relocated into these tents. And what I want is, I don't care, illegal or not. When you are in that kind of catastrophic event, you want everybody, you know, to just be safe and get them into an environment where they can begin to think clearly about what they're going to be doing. And then you deal with issues. So, you know, you would have to go to the shelters, I guess, Victoria, and ask them all for their documents to see how many are there that are illegal, because all of the pictures and all of the video that I have seen, I will tell you, I don't see very many people who are from Mexico, and all over the country, because I don't think that you were referring to those predominantly white countries. I do think that you were referring to Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, Mexico, and what happened? It was Obama that opened up the floodgates. Well, if you were living in those countries and you had a free ticket, and then you have your housing, your medical, your education for your kids, everything paid for, do you really think that you wouldn't take advantage of that? This is all a deliberate agenda. Okay, so you can look at these pictures. Do you think this woman, Helen Benjamin, is an illegal alien? You know, I did go through these pictures, and I will tell you, I'm not seeing, I see an awful lot of white people, I see an awful lot of black people, and I don't see any people that I could possibly think are illegal immigrants, but that's not how I look at people. Brown, black, white, doesn't matter. But when you are looking at these pictures, you have no empathy, none. Really? Because that means that your heart is cold. And that's scary. Gaston Kirby. This is his home. Oh my God, Jesus Ramirez. Could be, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know how many illegal immigrants are owning their own homes, but perhaps. Lemon Drop, you say they're going to the EBT or using EBT, going to the ATMs, driving better cars than you are. I don't know what they're doing, but there's an awful lot that have been destroyed, and I'm sorry, you know, Tom Powell, this is his home. And you know, when you know people who are living in a FEMA hotel, when their home has been destroyed. This is Gloria Backer. You think this woman is an illegal immigrant? But when you do know, and you really care about someone who has their home destroyed, and you just learn that the insurance company denied her claim, American citizens pilfering American citizens, you get upset. You get really upset when you read these kinds of comments, like I just read. And frankly, I don't care. This is Ann Stokes. Let's go back one, because I don't know. He could be illegal. Oh, Dargas. I don't know how to pronounce that. Oh, but he is a volunteer, and he's bringing out items from homes that were flooded. Good human being. So Ann Stokes, yep, shelter. You look at these pictures and you really don't feel anything. You know, I know that we're not going to get anywhere. This community is so divided. Everybody fighting one another. Everybody at different levels of consciousness, at different levels of knowledge, on different pages. You know, I just see what happens on my channel, and I know that it's happening on all channels, and all of the fighting, the personal attacks, and I can't tell you, it is like on a daily basis, I get upset with comments that I read. Either